You put those fuckers on there backwards, then it just sits there and spins out every gear. So it surprised me that he didn't figure that one out, that it had brand new tires on it. But I didn't mind taking a look at that one. It was pretty trippy. And then I had this kid came by the shop one day, and he was like, "Hey, I just wanted to know, you work on dirt bikes, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll work on dirt bikes." He says, "Can you tighten my power band?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Yeah, man, I need you to tighten my power band." I was like, "Dude, everyone knows that you can't tighten a power band, that you have to replace it." I said, "But I can replace your power band." I said, "But if I replace your power band, I have to replace your wiggler bearing and your wobbler joint to go with it." Oh, but that's a true story. That, "Can you tighten my power band?" And I did tell him, "No, everyone knows you can't tighten a power band." It's kind of like when I went into the Craig Caulk Racing Heads and I said, "Hey, man," I just fucking don't know why. Walked in there one day and said, "Hey, man, do you guys do head jobs?" There, Craig Caulk looked at me and was like, "Do we what?" I said, "Do you guys do head jobs?" I needed the head reworked on a Honda Civic. And he was like, "Dude, let me tell you something." He said, "We do head work and we do valve jobs, but we do not do head jobs." and then, yeah, I was like, over there off the northwest side of Houston, took off work early one day to go buy a KX250. And this KX250 was on the Cycle Trader online or whatever. It was only a few years ago. However, they only wanted like $400 or $500 for it. But in the ad, it said KX250. It was a fucking good looking bike. And it said needs crank kit. And so I went and I went over to this guy's house. It was just now getting dark by the time I got over there. It was like a fucking hour to get there, man, and traffic and shit like that. And yeah, it was before the West Park Tollway. But so I get over there and I look at this KX250, and I think I talked him down to 400. I gave him just looking at it in his garage and being a mechanic, I knew that it was no more than what I could handle as far as whatever it needed. And if it needed a crank kit, it needed a crank kit, whatever. I was prepared to split the cases and put a new, rebuild the motor from the ground up if that's what it needed. But just looking at it and pushing the kickstand down by hand and feeling it, I was like, okay, $400. And I loaded it, got it in, put it in my van. I had a cargo van at the time. Oh man, I'm watching the Ultimate X. It's about, came out around 99, about the X Games. What's up, Jason Ellis? My man, Jason Ellis. Old badass Australian motherfucker right there. Ellis mate. So yeah, I got this KX250 all loaded up in my van and everything and tied down, and I had already paid the guy, and I was like, just by curiosity, did you take it to a shop and they told you that it needed a crank kit, or what made you come to the determination, sir, that it needed a crank kit? And he looked at me like, are you stupid? He looked at me like, he said it needs a crank kit because it won't crank. Yeah, that's exactly what I was like, really. And it won't crank. It needs a crank kit because it won't crank. So yeah, one BR8 spark plug later, that was a running motorcycle. A little $400 KX250. Yeah, I probably ended up, like everything else, vamping out and spending way too much money on. But if I didn't do it, somebody else would. What the fuck? Being in the motorcycle business sometimes gives us an excuse to go just, a little bit haywire with our projects, a little bit mad, a little bit out there, And yeah, that's for some reason I like to build three-wheel. I used to like to ride three-wheelers. The old two-stroke CR250R three-wheeler was a bad motherfucker. They just called it a 250R, actually. And if you find an 86 model, just mail it to me, man, or tell me where you're at. I'll come pick it up. I'd love to have one. So yeah, rock and roll, guys. Tightening power bands and things that need crank kits. Tires being put on backwards. So I always say that you need to know the person that's putting hands on your motorcycle. Let it be somebody that you trust, because I don't want to be going, the speed limit even down the road, or like some of us, 150 mile an hour down the road. And, your life's really in your mechanic's hands at that point. So yeah, trust and know who's putting their hands on their motorcycle, because I love all you guys and I want to see you handlebars up, you know what I'm saying, at the next event. So watch out for cages, because those cars, they do not see you. You're welcome to check out some of the other Robcast radio programming here at Spreaker Podcast. Download the app, follow me on there. And yeah, by all means, man, send me an email, send me a tweet. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Spreaker Podcast, and also on YouTube, guys. So that's about all the time we've got for today. We'll see if Flip can find us some outro music and make sure we don't have any other big brain busters for you guys today. So yeah, we've all got potential, man. It's like whenever I see a motorcycle, I see its potential. Like if you see the cover art for this show, for example, the little three-wheel contraption that you see on the beach, that was us out there thrashing that motherfucker at the beach. That was something we picked up for $12 off the back of a scrap load. It was a dirt bike that needed a rear tire. And you see what we did instead of a rear tire? Yeah, we just put the swing arm off of a four-wheeler on the back and made it into a badass little three-wheeler. And it's still running around Houston, Texas today, being sold to this guy and to that guy. But we see it on Craigslist about every 6 months and talk about a little bit about it, And then my Metric Softail 1300 is the black and gold bike that you see. Yeah, that thing literally less than a year ago, it had fucking saplings growing through it in someone's front yard. So just like I see potential in motorcycles, I see potential in all of you guys and more of us that ride motorcycles, live our dreams, and wake up every single day doing what we love to do. And if that's not what you do, I would encourage you to wake up every single day doing what you love to do. So rock and roll, guys. Look, that's about all the time we've got for the show today. Y'all have a badass evening and even better tomorrow. We'll see who all wants to make a trip down Blue Water Highway Saturday morning. And if I didn't just jinx it to motherfucking rain, definitely I know that Orvonius Maximus and myself will be there. Brandemonium's got his bike almost done. It'll definitely be ready for springtime. So all you little maniacs, you little loose nuts behind the wheel, have a badass evening and better tomorrow. I'm Zombie, and I am out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all you little maniacs across the world, thank you once again for tuning in to the Life Behind Bars broadcast, coming at you live, uncut and unrated from Spreaker Podcast and Broadcast Radio. I'm Zombie, and I'm out of here for the evening, bitches. Peace!